Alright, finally, time to kick your ass in Mortal Kombat X.
You have disturbed our regeneration process, OtherJoe!
Fight! Finish him! You suck.
Fuck this.
Easy fatality.
That was pathetic.
Mortal Kombat was one of my most anticipated releases of 2015, alright? So, what are my thoughts on the game? Well, MKX is a fantastic fighting game. It's got updated visuals, new fighters, it's the next generation, they do fighter variations, tons of content, it's a polished release if you don't count the absolutely disastrous piece of shit PC port.
But as you can see, the game does not look so amazing, you guys. The game looks pretty bad right now. What the F is this? Seriously, what the F is this, you guys?
And right now it's marred by microtransactions and crappy business practices that I don't know why companies feel the need to do these. Look at this fucking shit. This is bullshit. Easy fatalities, really? 30 easy fatalities for $5? That is fucking annoying. But what's worse is I know for a fact that you earned coins in the game a lot quicker before it came out when reviewers had the copies, like I did. Then all of a sudden when it came out, it got rebalanced to where you earn coins much, much slower. Why? So that you can buy this goddamn thing. A $20 unlock everything in the crypt pack. And they gimped quite a bit of coin earning, I can tell you that much. But perhaps the most disgusting and undefendable thing, which I've realized later, is that it's just in your face. Press X to buy Goro, press X to buy... You know what? Goro is on the goddamn disc, complete, 100% on the disc. But if you didn't pre-order him, you're going to be paying $5 for something that you already technically paid for. This is absolutely wrong, and it should not be in our fighting games. And it's sad to see Mortal Kombat take a few shots from Corporate Commander himself.
Finish him!
Don't need it! Causality! Yeah.
Well done.
This type of shit is not the things that we want to see in our fighting games. Alright, now let's get on to the review. Let's start with the game's story mode, that fabled, now legendary mode that NetherRealms knows how to do so well. Now, before I begin, those of you who are those people that say, Joe, fighting games don't need stories. I only care about the fighting because I'm pro MLG. You suck, bro. Well, then please leave the room or shut the fuck up during this segment. Because you clearly are unable to critique anything outside your own little fucking box that you've constructed for the fighting genre. Where the rest of us are fucking tired of and we want innovation in. And you know what? NetherRealms was one of those studios that understood this and gave us one of the most substantial story modes ever in a fighting game. They were praised for it. It was fucking legendary. And MK9. It had cinematic quality and it gave plenty of context to fighters like never before. They continued that in Injustice. However, here in Mortal Kombat X, while this mode still has a great story mode, it does suffer. This time around, it's only 4 hours.
4 hours.
And I'm pretty shit at fighting games. If you're good, it's gonna take you a little more than 3 hours. You know, that's less than half that we got in MK9 at about 6 to 7 hours. We only have maybe 12 chapters as opposed to 17. Did we need more chapters? Yes, we sorely needed more chapters. Why? Because we're introducing at least 8 new characters here. You're moving the franchise forward outside of the tournament format, and you have a bunch of new characters. By the end of the game, you just end up feeling confused. So much was missing. What happened to a number of characters? Why didn't we get to see the cyber ninjas get destroyed if they're gone?
The Lin Kuei had been fully cyberized. I pledged to kill Sector and his followers, reform the Lin Kuei, and restore our honor.
I am not interested in Lin Kuei politics, Sub-Zero.
Why the hell is Sonya so fucking mad at Johnny Cage for no goddamn good reason?
Go get an update on camp security from Colonel Flagg.
Why?
Because then you won't be here.
So much time is spent on the Cage family and these next generation of Spec Ops fighters, which I always found the Spec Ops to be the least interesting of the MK universe. I don't know about you, but that nobody else gets fleshed out as before. People like Katana, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao are just footnotes. Instead of, fleshing out these characters, they're more concerned with throwing in pointless cameos like Fujin, this red girl, I know who she is, Frost, and Bo Rai Cho.
Master Bo Raicho, I am pleased to see you. It has been many years.
Too long. Yes, too long. We old warriors need to stick together, eh?
Most certainly.
Gee, thanks! I would have preferred if we got more for those other characters that are actually fighting in the game. And it's especially frustrating when you can clearly tell that some of the characters in the single-player story, Rain, Baraka, and Sindel, could have actually been playable with full movesets already in the game. But no, they're limited to story mode. I guess probably for more paid DLC.
Weak, pathetic fools, I've come for your souls.
I don't think so.
Now the story is interesting enough to keep you motivated through it. It's got a great variety of locations, I'll give it that. But it just, the situations, it just fails to reach maximum impact in comparison to what we got before. It's just like, hey, remember the good old days? Sindel's like, hey, you remember when I was cool?
Has your mother ever told you what I did to her friends? Kill them all in the blink of an eye.
And then gets beat up in 2 seconds. Hey, look at how much potential that Melina Civil War had.
As the heir to my father, Shao Kahn, I, Melina, Khanum of Outworld, order your execution!
It's over in a flash. Remember how cool and mysterious and how powerful Quan Chi seemed?
The mighty gods of Earthrealm.
You befoul these hallowed grounds, Quan Chi. Be gone!
Nope, according to this game, Quan Chi is actually kind of a little bitch, getting beat up by everybody.
Jax, there is no need.
Just stop it.
Scorpion, stop!
And where the fuck is the Elder Gods in all this? An evil imprisoned Elder God breaks out, does all this shit outside of the Mortal Kombat tournaments, and the Elder Gods don't even fucking notice? Really? The comic book storyline is unfortunately more interesting than the one that we got here. Too much is focused on these new 4 and Takeda's nice ass. That ass, though. And if you blink, you pretty much miss my favorite characters, Aaron Black, the fucking cowboy.
State your business.
We're emissaries. We need to talk to Kotal Khan.
Follow me.
Or fucking Farah and Tor, who both of these guys have no context or next to no role in the game.
You here make trouble, Skinny? Trouble make you!
And is it me or does it just feel wrong that Cassie Cage just beats up on the powered-up Chinook after being fatigued from her previous 3 obligatory fights just because she gets greened up? Johnny's shadow kick power? I mean, it's never really been all that powerful or mysterious, guys. Johnny had it versus Shao Kahn, and Johnny wasn't even on Shao Kahn's radar.
No, Johnny!
I'm sorry for showing a clip of that movie, but it's just everyone's power level in this story feels way off. That's what I had to get the point across. Bad guys feel like complete wimps, and the new guys feel OP without even earning it. This rookie first-time fighter just makes Chinook, someone who's supposedly more powerful than Shao Kahn, look like an absolute bitch.
Miserable wretch! Insignificant speck of feculent scum! How dare you!
Fuck yeah, nobody can beat Shao Kahn. I miss him already.
I am Shao Kahn! Bow before me! Feel the wrath of Shao Kahn!
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You are weak!
No.
Weak pathetic fool.
You're weak. You're not even in this game.
What? I should be!
Yeah, but you're not. I'm sorry.
Ha 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 ha! Yeah, feel the power of Shao Kahn!
That's not power. That's cute.
You will die!
Oh, oh my god, stuff I gotta put up with. Sorry about that, guys.
But I don't want you to think story mode's that bad. I mean, it does feel like we are playing a good MK movie. And it does seem to understand that it's like a movie. The cutscenes are a lot longer than normal. In fact, so much so that they throw QTE events that cannot be failed, thankfully, to keep players invested. And while it's framed nicely, it's highly cinematic, it's got great voice acting, it just comes up short in length and memorability or impact.
The fate of billions will depend upon you. Sorry.
Thankfully though, while story is disappointing, the game makes up for this by innovating in nearly every other area. From its graphical updates, which takes character models and damage to the next gen levels, even if sweat does kind of look odd, like scales on most fighters. They do the same amount of detail to upgrading the 13 interesting backdrops with interactable items, which was an idea they pulled from their Injustice game, even if stage fatalities are missing and sorely needed.
Finish her! Mileena wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
But perhaps one of the biggest innovations is the fighting variation system, which essentially gives each character 3 unique versions. Taking that lower roster count of 23, or 24 if you count Kenshi.
Fight! Where the fuck is Kenshi?
And upping it to arguably 72 different flavors. It's almost daunting to have to pick between so many different variations and then get good at them. There is just no doubting the amount of actual fighting content here in the game, and it is astounding. But I am starting to wonder if I would have appreciated more different fighters with single variations than a smaller number of fighters with 3 variations. You see, most of the time, people just find and settle on one variation and ignore the rest. Even more annoying is that variations become somewhat limiting when your favorite moves are no longer available to a character in that variation. For example, Raiden doesn't even have a teleport in any of his variations besides Sparkport, which is blasphemy. What is next? They're gonna take away Raiden's flying Superman? Some variations are clearly better than others, and the execution just may have been a bit more limiting and wasteful than the developers originally intended. So I wonder if we'll see its return in future installments in the MK series. NetherRealms has no doubt provided us more than our fair share of additional offline content, including Test Your Might, where you break items as you did in the classic MKs. There's the chaotic, gimmicky Test Your Luck, which is good for a laugh or two with some crazy modifiers to the fights. There's survivor mode, like endless stuff, expanded tower modes with these living towers of quick, daily, and premiere varieties. But to be honest, I never really played these much, outside of the arcade towers, because I wanted to see each character's individual endings, since they didn't get much time in the story.
Now, once every decade, Kotal Khan must enlist his greatest defenders to face Raiden's challengers in Mortal Kombat.
Despite this huge amount of new offline content, I really would have appreciated that time and effort being put into a more substantial story mode rather than these endless, ultimately forgettable experiences. However, one thing that they did a worthy upgrade to was the crypt. One of my favorites. It's been cleverly redesigned from just a gallery to an actual first-person game that reminded me a lot of Legend of Grimrock, an excellent old-school game. Only with annoying quick-time jump scares rather than tactical battles, which I think if they do this again, they should definitely put in. Anyway, I hope they stick with this version of the crypt. It was entertaining and exciting to find all the different fighters' weapons, which allowed you to progress deeper into the crypt to get all the places that you couldn't, to unlock all of the fucking fun stuff that you find while exploring. Look whose weapons I got! It's Reptile! Welcome to Cooking with ERMAC! Today we're gonna have a lot of fun, okay? Hey man, where you going? Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck you going? Hey! Hey, you think you just walk away from me? What, you don't like my cooking? Huh? You show me a little bit of respect down here, okay? I'm trying to make ends meet, okay? I got kicked out of the game. We got some ERMAC in there who's a fucking mommy. What the fuck? Hispanic ERMAC, classic ERMAC. Put me in, ghost. Put me in, I can do it. Come on. I need some work, man. Come on. Give me a few coins. I know you can spare a few coins. Okay. Alright, I'll take some coins then. Yeah, bitch, these are mine. From my neighborhood. Now, the actual fighting. It's as good as it's ever been. I love the 3D look on the 2D plane, the button blocking, the fast, intense fights that utilize special moves, huge combos, X-ray attacks, and meter management for counters and EX enhancers. MK's footsie game is obviously very different from Street Fighter or most other fighters, so it does take a little bit of getting used to, but I feel the ease of entry here is great. Games are aggressive and rarely end in timeouts. Medium to high combos are favored. Matches can be lost quickly with that dial-a-combo system if you fail to be on point with your blocking game. So make sure you train up.
Target mark.
Woo! That was fucking close, girl! Ah! Nice little combo there myself. Oh no! Whoop! She gonna get me? Oh! Good matches. Good matches. Evo Diva takes this one. Fatalities are extremely graphic, hands down the most extreme that the series has ever seen, which I absolutely love.
ERMAC wins. Fatality.
And there's even some funny ones. My favorites being Cassie's selfie.
Cassie wins. Fatality.
But I do miss some of the missing fun stuff from previous games, like friendships and babalities.
Finish him. ERMAC wins. Fatality.
Hey, stop it! Every character in the game, though, does have additional skins except for the $5 Goro. And these skins look really awesome, especially the Revenant Evil versions. And yes, they have toned down the sexiness of the female characters, and that's obviously got some fucking 12-year-olds upset, but I actually like this more realistic and proportioned look for both the male and the female characters, as it's closer to the original MKs of the past, where they digitize real actors. We do get some extra fatality systems like faction kills, quitalities for fucking quitters that feel so good.
Fatality.
Gotta stay sharp.
And brutalities that look amazing.
How you like that? Jax wins. Flawless victory.
Though I do wish some of the brutalities were a little bit easier to pull off. They're extremely difficult and demanding to execute some of them, which I feel takes away a bit of the fun when they're so difficult to perform. Hey, I prefer having as many additional fatality variations rather than these extremely conditional things. If anything, there shouldn't be easy fatalities, there should be easy brutalities, if that's what you want to do, and make them free, alright? MK has all the extra stuff for competitive players that they'll enjoy, like, you know, frame data, multiple option settings for advanced play inputs, button checks, fucking everything. The only thing I wish it had in terms of modes was something that helped beginners out more. Sure, there's fantastic practice modes, even a short tutorial mode, there's online practice, and hell, you can even play on your own practicing before your King of the Hill match while other people play. But I was hoping that the practice mode itself would include some segments that actually maybe teach you or walk you through some of the characters' more standard combos to bring you to that next level and make everybody competitive. Because if they did that, I think that there would be far less spam online. And finally, we have to talk about Mortal Kombat X's online modes, which are, again, thankfully extensive. Right at the beginning of the game, in fact, you're forced to choose between several factions, which I don't really like the faction system, but it will contribute to a global metagame for faction dominance in these wars. There are even team-specific 5-on-5 fights that help your side even more. But for me, I felt that that mode was its biggest letdown. Your individual contributions just don't feel that meaningful, and it's not satisfying in any way, especially if you're on the losing side. And add to that, it's unbalanced. It's broken. Less popular factions have no way to attract new players, and wars will always be dominated by one or two of the fucking Lin Kuei, alright? Winners will get 10k coins and a new faction fatality, but unless you drop your favorite faction and join that popular one, which you could do at any time, don't count on having as much fun outside of the PvE invasion challenges. There's just no checks and balances in the faction war system and no reason to play a losing faction like the Spec Ops. It's a half-baked idea that sounds good on paper, but didn't really feel well executed. Thankfully, huge rooms are back where I got to play with the AJSA everybody. King of the Hill mode is better than ever with emotes, practice modes, fight ratings. There's online practice, online test your luck, player matches, private matches, ranked matches. Everything that you can ever hope for in the online world. Oh, except for a way to quickly mute obnoxious players. That needs to be patched in ASAP.
Murder! Murder!
I just wish that the netcode was better for the game. Yes, it's not as bad as MK9, thankfully, and it's about on Injustice levels, maybe slightly better. I'm just still waiting for MK to figure out how to do this flawlessly or with better performance. Even buying their own servers if it's required. That's where a lot of the effort should have been put into, finding the best experience, as, in my opinion, that's one of the most important, if not the most important thing in fighting games these days. The online. So, that about sums it up. The final verdict for Mortal Kombat X is a difficult one, but I'm gonna end at an 8 out of 10. It does rise above some of its drawbacks. However, if you have the PC version, the score would be lower, about a 7 out of 10 after it's been all patched up, after that disastrous release. Now, I considered docking an additional point from both for these bullshit transactions, but hopefully we've pushed back loudly enough here that they see that we don't want this fucking crap in our next game. And if they put it in there, ooh, shit, we're gonna have a problem because you know it's gonna continue to get out of control. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Because all that shit does take away from the game. What we have here is a game that's worthy of the franchise, one that advances the series in many ways, but also unfortunately takes a few steps back, no tag mode and things like that when compared to the excellent and extensive MK9. I feel like the effort that they put into fighting variations, the online faction war mode, would have been better served making a longer story, one that's maybe even non-linear as they had originally hyped, adding in different paths, or adding twice the amount of roster characters. In addition to finding the superior online experience with servers if necessary. So I hope NetherRealms is listening to all our feedback and redoubles their efforts in those areas that I feel that they are already market leaders in. Story, characters, fucking online modes, okay? Until then, we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. You have to scream and come get some. Alright. How'd it feel, Joe, to fly?
Amazing! I want to do it again!
Shao Kahn should be in this game! Ha 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 ha! Ha! Ha!
That's his moves.
Ha!
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah.
Ha! Hey! Hey! Stop it!
Gaga goo goo.
Oh my
This is fucking horrible! Why? Why not? The diaper!
You ever see the baby character in Mortal Kombat when he fights? Do Kung Fu, baby.
Yeah, I can't really
Oh, 'cause you're
move.
holding
Yes!
Or just do punching with this. Alright. Yes, I know. Please go for it.
This is the end of the line.